Hey friends, welcome back. My name is Jason and I've got funny shaped feet. I've got fat feet. They're not all that big. I wear like a 9.5, give or take. But my toe box is like a foot wide. Like a literal foot wide. It's ridiculous. I got funny shaped feet and I've had a really difficult time finding shoes and boots that fit my foot properly and just don't drive me insane. But guys, I think I may have found the solution. I was looking for a really simple leather boot that wasn't Gore-Tex, didn't have the fancy waterproof materials and stuff like that, because in my experience, Gore-Tex boots eventually get wet. They don't breathe as good as they say they do. Gore-Tex either breathes or it waterproofs. It doesn't do both at the same time, from what I understand, and that's been my experience. And once Gore-Tex boots get wet, and they eventually get wet, they stay wet forever. So I wanted the most simple, basic boot possible. I wanted something made of leather, and that's pretty much it. I didn't really need a high top boot. I wanted an ankle high boot like this one right here. Really simple. There is no material on the inside of this other than leather. You see that? It's just leather. That's it. Even the sole, the part that you walk on right there, the insole, I guess you'd call it, is just leather. There's nothing else. Gym green boots based out of South Africa. I paid full price for these boots. They're about $200, give or take, right around the $200 mark. And they're kind of a barefoot boot. They're really flexy and they allow your foot to move and allow my fat feet to spread out inside that big wide toe box right there. And that's exactly what I needed. I've been wearing these for a few weeks now, and obviously they don't look new anymore. I've been doing everything from mixing concrete and digging holes in them to, I went for a couple mile run in them the other day. So, and so far so good. I like them. Again, they're not waterproof, so you do need to treat them with some oil from time to time. And I'm going to go ahead and give them a nice coating of some mink oil. And I'm going to replace the laces with some paracord here. Because why? Because paracord. And because no self-respecting survivally guy like myself would walk around with boots that didn't have paracord laces. You know, just no one would respect you. First things first, I'm just going to clean all this. Well, I'm going to take these laces out for one. Take off the original laces, which are fine, but they're good laces. There's nothing wrong with them, but there's just no comparison between this and paracord. This is basically the equivalent of this outer sheath right here minus the inner strands, and that's what gives paracord its strength right there, is those inner strands right there. And this outer sheath has a name, and JJ the other day, my friend JJ told me the name of it, and it's called, I forget. If you know the name of that outer shell on paracord, on ropes just in general, tell me what it's called. It's got a name. So it's got a fun name. Anyway, so I'm going to be replacing that with some paracord. And I've got to clean the boots up. Just get some of the surface dust off of them and dirt and crud and stuff from the past few weeks of wearing them. And, dang that wind. And then I'll be ready to put some oil on. So this is just like a nylon brush. It looks like a wire brush, but it's not. It's just a nylon brush, and I'm just gonna just brush off some of that surface dirt and get them a little bit cleaned up, so it'll soak up that oil a little bit better, and that will help water resist the leather just a little bit. Again, I'm not looking for a waterproof boot. If my feet get wet, I always wear wool socks for one, which still insulate even if they are wet, and they dry really fast. And a simple leather boot like this that doesn't have all of the fabricy stuff on the inside will dry way faster. It does dry really fast, actually. I've gotten these wet a couple times already because it's been pouring down rain on us, hurricanes and whatnot. So anyway, cleaning these up, once I get them all scrubbed fairly clean, not clean, but cleaner, I'll go ahead and put some of that mink oil on there. All right, those are pretty cleaned up. I think they're looking all right, and they are ready for some oilage. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna use a paper towel here, shop rag like this, dip it in some mink oil, and then smear it liberally across all of the surfaces of the leather. And by the way, these boots are resolable, so when you finally wear out the tread on the bottom here, you can get a brand new sole sewn on because of the way that this boot is designed. And that was another kind of, I guess not requirement, but request of mine when I was selecting a boot, is I wanted it to be resolable. I wanted to be able to wear it for quite a few years, even after I've worn the bottom out. This top part here, this leather part, is still going to be fine. It's still going to be in good shape. And it just seems kind of wasteful to wear a pair of shoes until the bottom gets wore out. The rest of it's fine. And it just seems wasteful to kind of throw it away. So I wanted something that I could resole and wear for several years. I'm hoping to get, 3+ years out of this one pair of boots if I resole the bottoms. And it is breezy. I think finally the rain is pretty much over after the hurricane went through. I think we got the last of it this morning, but the wind is still kicking. So there's your mink oil. Smells pretty nice. I think any liberal would say that that's plenty. I've liberally applied the oil to the boot. And I'm gonna go sit it out in the sun for about 5 minutes and just let it soak into the leather, and I'm gonna call that good. And obviously I'll do that to both boots. No one wants just one soggy leather boot. Gotta do it to both, right? Sun's finally peeking its way out, so we're just gonna sit it out here on this stump and let her soak in. Now while those are sitting out in the sun, I'm gonna go ahead and prep my laces, get those set up. This wind is killing me. I do not want to have to go inside just to melt an end of the paracord. But we might have to. This breeze is relentless. There you go. Come on, baby. There we go. That's kind of what I like the ends of the paracord to end up looking like right there. Nice. Just take one of our laces and we will match it up with our paracord and make it of equal length. They were just about perfect length laces. Over the years, I've been on a quest to find the perfect footwear for any and all circumstances and all situations, and it's my opinion that it doesn't exist. So there is a type of shoe for every job, but there isn't a shoe for every job. So oftentimes I get criticized for my footwear choices, right? So like, for example, like right now, I'm wearing sandals. These are some Bedrock sandals. Really like these. These were actually a gift from my friend Dustin from Wazoo Gear. He bought me these sandals. He's been wearing them for years and hiking mountains and stuff in them, and he knows I'm a sandal guy as well. And he hooked me up with these, and so far I love them. They're excellent sandals. Sorry about the wind, guys, but I get criticized for my footwear choices all the time because, like any good survivalist, right? Just like the paracord bootlaces. Any good survivalist knows that you have to have the proper steel-toed, high-top, lace-up boots in a survival situation. Well, listen, I'm in and out of the water a lot, and where I live, in my environment, it's swampy, and it's wet, and it's hot, and it's humid. And what happens when you jam your foot into a boot and it doesn't breathe, and you have it in there all day long for multiple days, and it stays wet for a long time, is you get fungus, and you get itchy feet, and eventually that can lead to a lot of problems. And by having my feet nice and airy and being able to breathe in sandals, I don't have those issues nearly as often as what I would if I crammed them into a wet boot. Now, I wear rubber boots a lot. In the wintertime, mostly. Not so much in the summertime, but in the wintertime, I wear rubber boots because I just don't have to care about anything. I can just tromp through the mud, the muck, the creeks without a care in the world, and my feet are going to stay dry and warm. Unless I start sweating a lot and then my foot gets wet on the inside, and that's a whole different issue because rubber boots don't breathe. It's kind of the opposite of the sandal. So I wanted a shoe that I could work in. I wanted a boot that I could work in on a kind of daily basis, you know, do typical daily chores and stuff like that. That would give me a little bit more protection than the sandal, but not quite as much protection as the rubber boot, and just would breathe a bit more. And I think this simple leather shoe is going to be the ticket. Early into our relationship here, I just got these a few weeks ago, so I'll let you know, down the road if I'm still digging them. 6 months, a year from now, if I'm still liking these boots. I got a feeling, so far so good. I got a feeling I'm gonna be liking them for a while. And there's 2 laces. Ka-chow. Boots have been sitting out here in the sun for at least 5 minutes now, soaking in the rays, soaking in that oil. I think we could just wipe off the excess here and they'll be ready for action. Let's put some laces in them. What do you say? Tell you what, this boot lace would have saved me the other day when I was on Mystery Island with my toaster oven. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. Toaster oven survival. These paracord laces would have been the ticket. Strong cordage is a difficult thing to come by, man. You can make it, yeah. I mean, there's different plant fibers and stuff that work to varying degrees of strength. The best cordage I've ever made was made out of yucca fibers, and it was pretty dang strong. And it can be made really strong depending if you make it bigger. The thicker you make it, the stronger it's going to be, and the better job you do of twisting it together or braiding it or however you end up making it. I did a reverse wrap cordage when I made it. You can make cordage out of your clothing. I've done it. I've had good success making it out of the bottom of my shirt, where the shirt is hemmed. It's doubled up already. That works quite well to fabricate some sort of makeshift cordage, and it's pretty dang strong. I used my neck gaiter. That did not work that great. I mean, it was a decent string, but it did not hold up to the abuse of a friction fire, that's for sure. This 550 cord here would have been a game changer. I think I don't want to say for sure, but I think I probably could have gotten a fire if I had started my challenge with this string right here in my boot. I think I would have been able to make it happen. Oh yeah. Perfect. I think that is going to work out just dandy. They paid full price for these. I actually reached out to the company and said, hey, would you be interested in working with me? And I got no response. Crickets. Do they know who I think I am? Yeah, I'm kind of a big deal. Tens of people around the world love me. How dare they not respond back to my inquiry? But anyway, so I paid full price for these boots. No sponsorship or anything like that. Jim Green out of South Africa. Not a long-term review here. These boots might fall apart in another week and I might hate them. Then again, they might be the boot of choice that I will be wearing for years to come. I don't know. Anywho, thanks so much for watching, friends. I really do appreciate you guys hanging out with me while I work on my feet. Please hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Leave lots of comments. Tell me what your go-to boot is. What have you had really good success with if you're a working man and you're out and about doing the things and the stuff. Thanks again, friends. Until next time, what's the worst that could happen? Let's just go on 3.